Aloha and welcome to a League of Extraordinary Couples. Thank you for joining us today, and I am once again delighted to have the great good fortune of interviewing Arielle Ford. We had this opportunity last time in Power and Partnership, and here we are again, and we're going to dive deep quickly into her personal relationship because she's a relationship expert, as many of you already know. And I'm going to let the camera flash on over and say hello, and then we'll get started.
Hi, it's good to see you.
Thank you. Good to see you too. So let's get a little imaginative first off. If you were to describe your relationship with Brian as a landscape, what would be the image? What would be the picture you would paint for us today? What would that landscape look like?
It would be a tropical beach with lots of palm trees and white sand and aqua turquoise, calm, warm waters with hammocks and loungy chairs and a butler who would who would know before I know what I want, but would bring it to us on trays. And there would be somebody there who excels at giving foot rubs. And there would be a playlist coming from the palm trees, like just really fabulous music, everything from, classical music to reggae, to Sting, to Lord Nero. So.
Wow, I love it. It's a multi-sensory image with the sights and the sounds and I have
plumeria trees. There'd be a lot of plumeria smells.
Yes, so the smells too of the plumeria. And I can picture you and Brian in the water because I've seen that image out there of you two in the water. So that's wonderful. Thank you for that. So diving deep into your extraordinary relationship, what would you say matters most? If you had to distill it down, what is the nugget there that matters most in the space between?
Well, I would say that there's devotion would be the number one thing. We are both completely, utterly devoted to each other. And then there's a lot of respect and kindness and what's the word? It's this desire for the other's happiness.
Yeah. I love it. That image of really being invested in the well-being of the other. And in that comes just the word devotion itself. It speaks volumes. So I love that you bring that up as the focal point of what matters most. So when we're working with couples and we work with people in their love entanglements or love ties, oftentimes there's a concern around negativity, whether it's criticism or a rupture in the connection, whatever that negativity is that shows up. For some, it's conflict. How would you say that you work best in your own relationships, in your own personal beloved relationship to dissolve that negativity? How do you do that?
Well, it shows up. I mean, it's just, you put two people in a container and, shit happens.
Yeah.
And what I've learned is not to react. Like I can get upset about something, whether I'm angry or disappointed or whatever. And if I react in the moment, stupid things will come out of my mouth. So for me, it's best to take a time out, go do some tapping, look and see, what triggered it, where was I at fault, or was it just one of these unavoidable crazy things that happen?
Yeah.
And then, what do I need to do to get past it?
Right.
So for me, it's all about personal responsibility.
Yeah, I really hear that willingness to take ownership, take personal responsibility for your own reactivity, lessen that reactivity, that negativity when it wells up, taking a time out, taking a walk. For our listeners who don't know what tapping is, I know you and I are well versed in it and practice it regularly. They can find it right away on the internet and just get that resource of quick tapping. And I think you and I have told people before, you can learn it in as few as 10 minutes. And
it's incredible. Yeah, you can just Google tapping for anxiety and YouTube videos will come up.
Right.
Yeah, I think that's really the personal responsibility piece is really important.
Yeah, personal responsibility in terms of helping to dissolve the negativity in the space between. Yeah.
Yeah, because the truth is, your partner or my partner, they don't wake up in the morning thinking, what could I do to really piss off Amy today? What can I do? That doesn't happen.
Right.
And yet we respond like they did it on purpose.
Right. Right. As if it's some sort of personal attack or
Right.
Yeah. So, okay, we've looked at dissolving negativity, taking personal responsibility. It sounds like a simple thing to do, but it shows up in each and every interaction when we can feel triggered or feel that warm wash of reactivity come over us. On the other hand, of the other end of the spectrum, what is one thing you do in your relationship to help deepen the connection? So perhaps a daily practice that you do in your own life.
Well, one of the things we do is we love the numbers 444. So almost every day we're in the same room at the same time at 444, and we tell each other how much we love each other, because in our world, 444 is a reminder of God's love. So that's one of the things we do. But we're pretty, we have the same love languages. We're both about words and touch. So we're pretty connected that way and go out of our way to be appreciative of each other. We really know how fortunate we are, and we don't take it for granted.
Yeah. I love that. So you're really anchoring that into a daily thing that happens when you see it on the clock at 444. My guess that's in the PM, yeah?
Well, no, actually, a lot of times we wake up in the middle of the night and I'll just look at the clock, and Brian's a very light sleeper, so I'll just say, honey, it's 444, I love you. And he'll like mumble, yeah, I love you too.
Oh, I love that.
I wish we were better sleepers, but we're not.
Yeah. Well, the 444, that's the ambrosial hours, the AM. So I'm sometimes seeing that on my clock. Mine is 333. When any of us in our family see 333, we send love to everybody in the world, starting with ourselves.
Oh, nice.
But fortunately, I don't see the 333 AM too often, because that would be burly early. So yeah. So you gave us the example of a daily practice, looking at the clock, sharing your loves, and then you mentioned the love languages. And for our listeners who may not know what that entails, can you explain that a little bit more, please?
So there's a book called The 5 Love Languages by Dr. Gary Chapman. It's one of the best-selling relationship books of all time. But you actually don't need to read the book. You can just Google 5 Love Languages quiz, and you can take the quiz in a couple of minutes and find out what they are. So the love languages are, let's see if I can remember. One is gifts. So some people feel loved when they receive gifts. Another one is acts of service. So if you do something for them, that's how they feel loved. Or it could be touch, it could be words, or it could be quality time. And generally, we have 2 predominant love languages. So another way to think of it is we were all brought up on the golden rule: do unto others as you would have them do unto you. But my friend Susan Bratton says it's all wrong when it comes to love. With love, you want to practice the platinum rule, which is do unto others as they want to be done unto. So if you feel loved because I give you gifts, and then you buy me gifts because you're trying to show me that you love me, but I don't give a shit about gifts, which I pretty much don't. What I want words of love. I want you to hug me and whisper in my ear and tell me how much you love me and how beautiful I am and all of that. That's my love language. So it's really important to know your own love language and your partner's, and then to give them more of that.
Yeah. Beautiful. Thank you. Because I think that helps clear up another one of those traps that I see couples fall into, is that one partner will expect their beloved to mind read, to know what matters most. And we need to share that. And over time, we get more comfortable sharing that. And, for me,
it's not hard to ask questions. And that's what people are so afraid to do. Right. It's absolutely okay to say, here's what I was thinking about. I'd like your opinion. Don't ask men how they feel. Just ask them their opinion. What's your opinion about this? Or what do you think about this? And then when they give you an answer, you don't even have to agree, but you do have to acknowledge that it makes sense, or that it's brilliant, or that it's something.
Yeah. So really acknowledging the other, being willing to ask the questions and keep that communication open. Am I getting you?
Totally. And that's how you listen well. You listen to what they say, and then you repeat it back and say, did I get that? And is there more?
Right, right. Yes, the beautiful tool of active listening and intentional dialogue. Yeah.
It's, and it's so easy to learn.
Mm-hmm.
None of us were taught how to do relationship well. We didn't, it's not in our DNA, and we didn't see our parents do it, but it's so easy to learn. And in fact, that's why I wrote my last book, Turn Your Mate into Your Soulmate,
Mm-hmm.
because I had the good fortune to spend 200 hours of my life interviewing the world's top love and marriage experts. And the best advice I got from them is all in the book.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Wonderful. So we will check that out. And I love that about you, because you're constantly, whenever I listen to you or have the opportunity to talk with you, I feel more resourced. And there's something really powerful about that the information is there, even if we didn't grow up with it, even if it doesn't come naturally to us. It's not as if we're a lost cause.
Right.
Would you agree that anyone out there could have an extraordinary relationship?
Oh, it's absolutely true. What it takes, though, is a little time and energy and intention, and this is the big one, attention.
Yeah.
You have to put down your smartphone and start paying attention. You have to engage with the other person. You have to stop being so busy. Lots of people say, oh, my relationship is my priority. And yet if you spent a day with them, there'd be no evidence of that whatsoever.
Right.
So you have to get honest with yourself. Is your beloved really your priority? And if so, then you got to take care of them like they're your garden.
Right.
A little water, a little food, a little sunlight, a little caressing.
Right.
Not that hard, but it requires effort.
Right. I love that. The intentions and the attention and the willingness to put down the phone. And that's a great reminder for me. My phone all of a sudden a couple of weeks ago started telling me how much screen time I've been using. And I was shocked. Because I've been so against that for so long. And now I'm writing a book and I'm building another launch here, and I'm actively engaged with this world a lot. And it's a blessing, and it's a challenge to keep it.
My phone goes to bed every night at 7:30. And it goes to bed in the kitchen where it gets recharged, and I don't see it again till at least 7:30 the next morning.
Good. Mine's 8 and 8, but I might have to make an earlier bedtime.
Yeah, whatever it is, you've got to give it a break. Plus, you don't want to be around that energy so much.
Right. So as we kind of wrap up our interview, what are some other qualities of an extraordinary relationship?
Well, there's a couple of basic ones. So you need chemistry, although you don't need a ton of chemistry. You need to have some chemistry. Connection, compatibility, communication, as we've been talking about, which can totally be learned. And really, I think the most important piece is a shared vision for the future. What do you want your life to look like, especially if you're manifesting a new relationship? Where do you want to live? Do you want kids or don't you want kids? How do you want to spend your free time? You need to have at least 50% compatibility on the shared vision part, because, if you're someone who likes to travel the world like I do, I could have never ended up with an agoraphobic who didn't have a passport.
Right.
That was never going to work.
Right.
And we're actually kind of dealing with this now, because after being together almost 22 years, Brian's decided he doesn't want to travel as much anymore. He's really seen everything, done everything, wants to watch every sunset from the deck. And so for the last 3 years, he's been sharing this with me, and I've been trying to go into denial. No, you don't really mean that, but he really does, So, now, like, I'm leaving for India next week by myself. I have a good friend who lives over there. And I just said to him, I really need to go. And he's like, I really understand. And I hope you have a great trip. And I'll be here with the cats.
Yeah, which I just saw your cat walk by in the background.
Max walked in. He's really cute.
Yeah.
So it's, at that point, you have to be flexible. But, I will get him to Italy once a year.
Yeah.
I know I can get him to Italy, but the chances of him going back to India, we've been 7 times, are not good.
Right. And you got married 3 times to the same person, right?
We had 3 weddings in one summer.
In one summer, yeah.
But life changes, so you need to do what one of these gurus we know calls make a new plan.
Yeah. So the importance of having a shared vision, of, being willing to revise that. And I think that brings up a key piece for our listeners to consider, that we often make goals regarding our health or our weight or our exercise or our work. But what about actually sitting down? And I work with my clients on that at the end of the year, the annual review, and then the relationship vision for the year ahead, and to really take the time to do that. Because as you said earlier, if we say relationships are what matters most, where are we putting our time in that? So.
Right. And I think it's fun to have a joint relationship bucket list.
Ah,
you know,
yeah.
So what does that look like?
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
it is good. And I think date nights are important, especially if you have young kids. If you have young kids, then a once a week date night is like, non-negotiable, has to happen.
Okay. I have young kids, and, life gets lifey. And,
right. But if every Thursday night is your date night and you
mm-hmm.
know that, and you've got, relatives or friends or babysitters that can help you out, it's really important for them as well. It's you're role models for what, good romantic love looks like. You
Right.
need to be able to put on some makeup and get dressed and go out of the house and, be girlfriend and boyfriend.
Right, right. That's a wonderful reminder. And we're doing the Grand Ohana experiment, living with our in-laws, have our children here, great, live in babysitters.
There's a reason why that's worked for so long. You know, it still happens in a lot of countries. It's good for everybody.
Right.
It's really, it's such a healthy way to be if you don't have any toxic relatives in the mix,
Or if you do, it helps you grow your soul a little bit more. Yeah. So I just want to say that I really appreciate your bringing up, a present day concern. You still want to travel. You want to go. You have your wings are still unfurling and flying and going. And yet you say it with such softness and tenderness and understanding. It's not a resentment. It doesn't sound like a deal breaker. There's just this ease and grace that you embody. And I really appreciate that. So thank you for sharing that with us. And so this is...
Oh, go ahead.
Go ahead.
Out of the corner of my eye, I saw the time and I thought it was 4:44, but not yet.
Oh, right. That would be fun. Yeah. So in the interest of this short interview, we're here to really inspire couples that they too can have an extraordinary relationship. There are simple tools. It's not always easy, but it's simple. The information's out there on the internet. There are expert guides, that we do this. It's our gig called life, is to bring relational health to the forefront of our awareness and our attention and our intentions. And with that, I would love if you have a free gift to offer to our listeners to do so at this time.
At my website, which is soulmatesecret.com, there are free chapters to turn your mate into your soulmate.
Mm-hmm. Great. And we'll have that link below. Yeah.
And there's also a tab on the top of that website called Free Stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So I would check that out too.
You give lots of free stuff, and that whole idea of we really need to tap into our feelings and feel what we want instead of just think it with the visualizations. You call them
feelingsations.
Feelingsations. I love that. It's a fun word to try to get out of the mouth. So thank you, my dear. I feel like you have gotten younger in time, younger in spirit, and just that ease and grace that relationships are meant to serve us and empower us to live a life worth living. And dare I say, go out there and be a force for good. Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you for your time.
For what you're doing, people need your information.
Thank you so much. Aloha and be well.